No, and it is a lot about putting yourself in a different perspective. And one of the stories I was sort of connecting with during the retreat was when we were sort of trying to connect with our inner child, and maybe a difficult moment for that child. And you know, difficult moments as a child often is when you feel lonely or when you feel rejected or whatever. And the situation I was thinking of was when I was in a church and, you know, playing the oboe in front of a church full of people, and I was about 10 years old, and there was a choir and there was a guitar and me. And I was standing right at the front in front of this, you know, hordes of people. And the moment I take my oboe, I don't know where I'd put it before the concert, you know, next to a window or if I damaged the reed, but only squeaks came out. It was just squeak, squeak, squeak. And so I was there totally exposed, already in a vulnerable position because I was going to have to play an instrument in front of all these people. And it just, you know, I would... So there I was standing there, and of course, you know, like probably most 10-year-olds, I started crying, and I just stood there, you know, tears running down my cheek. And whenever I think of that situation, I don't have a pity party. I often use that as a strengthening memory. Is, yeah, but I did that and nothing bad happened. You know, I didn't get teased about it. I didn't get bullied in school. It happened, you know, I felt ridiculous, but actually there were no consequences. So it's helped me to not feel ridiculous in any situation. This is why when I play with teams, I'm not afraid to put myself out there and try something new or, you know, potentially fall on my face. It doesn't matter to me. But there's still something about, you know, it's always this story that kind of comes up. And as we were working on the story in the retreat, I realized that actually thinking about the people in the church and how they experienced that moment, you know, and you put yourself in the bench with a whole bunch of other people, and you're looking at this 10-year-old child who's having difficulties with their instrument and is very upset. And I thought of the emotions that would come up in them, you know, the emotion of compassion, the emotion of empathy, of just wishing you could go and save that child, because nobody likes to see a child, you know, upset and exposed like that. And when I think about, it's a beautiful feeling, you know, to connect with that, and to, even if it hurts a little bit for them, you know, but and all these people, or most of those people were probably feeling that. And when I looked at it from that angle, I thought I actually gave them something. I gave, you know, in that moment, which was that connectedness to a child who's in need of saving in one way or another. And it made me look at the whole situation in a completely different way, not from my angle, but their angle, and what they got out of it. And in that respect, what I gave them, even if it wasn't a nice piece of music, which, you know, which I'm sure they would never remember now, but maybe some of these people still remember that poor little girl, you know, who was crying in front of the, and it triggers some kind of warm emotion. You know, maybe not, but, and it is a lot about the way we look at situations and how we choose to perceive them and what we choose to take away. So it does make me want to revisit those moments, even though they were difficult. And although I can't change them and I can't change the impact of them in the moment, I can change, first of all, the way I'm going to deal with that going forward, and just sort of the way I want to remember those moments. And I think that's the nice thing about experience, is that you don't have to stay with the feeling that you had then. It's not as though it's set in time and nothing, you know, and you just have to live with it.
Yeah.
You can remaster it. You can take something away from every situation, and you can learn from it, and you can decide to change your view on it.